Hey guys, how's it going? Onrich here and welcome to a little bit of a special video. Today we are driving again in AOR, Apex Online Racing. A little bit of a return in Monaco here in F1 2014. As someone wishes us good luck for the race. He hopes that we crash in the first corner anyway, don't mind that. We're getting strapped into our car right now for the qualifying then. So yeah, I decided to do another race with AOR. After my last race was, I think I did one last season also in Silverstone. Which I didn't upload, and well, that's pretty much it. I've never done a race ever since my retirement, and so this will be another one, and it's a little bit of a special Grand Prix, obviously around Monaco. If you don't know the things about Split 1, there's quite a bit of stuff happening, which I'll explain in the race. But currently, I think Marco FD is leading the championship, but I just didn't look at that. You know, I'm racing here for myself. Try to have a bit of fun here between the guys again, and yeah, pick it up. So well, this is my qualifying lap then around this very tricky Monaco circuit. I'm not going to talk you through the lap straight away because we will have another lap soon, which will be actually faster. So I'm gonna keep on finalizing my introduction. The reason why I was driving in AOR, I basically felt like it. I was also having my doubts whether I should join in Spain, which was the run before this one. I in the end decided to back out of it. There are still quite a few bugs and glitches with the game which can well bother you, and the lag in multiplayer is quite severe as well, just like we have seen in previous years. But yeah, I did some training for Spain, a few laps, and had some fun with that. But yeah, not decided really to race, and then I felt like I could race from Monaco here. I didn't really get bothered that much by the glitches and stuff like that, so I thought, why not do it, have a bit of fun. And that was really my main approach, just to have a little bit of fun in this race, and well, then see where we end up. I didn't really have that much practice. I definitely did not practice 24/7. I would say I had the average practice time. I was definitely not running every hour a session or something like that, and also not every 2 days a session. It was just average, I guess. But anyway, that's pretty much it for the introduction. A little bit of a long introduction, but a little bit of explaining was the right thing to do, I guess. So here we go, putting in a 1:30.8 as our first lap. We're going to do the second lap right now. So came through the first right-hander pretty nicely there. Got quite a bit of curb. The corner cutting system is quite good for the first corner, I would say. It's pretty accurate, so we can conclude that it was a pretty sweet corner. A little bit wide there, touching the barrier with my rear end of the car. That's not great, but nonetheless, I'm still up by half a tenth as we come through the final, or sorry, not the final sector, the second sector obviously. Coming through the hairpin there, and two right-handers here, giving a lot of throttle in between the corners. And once again here, getting on the throttle as we enter the tunnel, the very famous tunnel onto the Nouvelle chicane. Make sure you do not cut it. It's very, very easily. Brake just left of the one on B-board, down to second gear, left and right. Do not cut it. As I said, I think I was right on limit there, as we see a Mercedes moving up from the racing line up ahead. That was Marco actually. Little bit off the apex there, could have been a little bit better. You want to get as close to the wall as possible there. Still purple though, and left to right, very good chicane. A lot of momentum, needs to be carried through that chicane. And then the final sector, a little bit too tidy on the apex. I touched the curb, which unsettles the car a little bit, then opening up the DRS for the run to the line, up to gear 5, gear 6, and it's a 1:30.777, 3/100ths up on our previous time, and currently 1.2 seconds up on Amish. And then we I knew I couldn't improve that. What I did is I went for a race stint then in qualifying, just to get a feel for the race, and then this happened. Watch this. There we go, good old times. I mean, this is just memories really. I had so many disconnects, well, so many disconnects is not true, but quite a few disconnects in my AUR career. So we had one there as well, but luckily it was a mass disconnect, meaning that a lot of people actually disconnected. So we restarted the qualifying again, and it is so hard to pick up the concentration then again as we come through the first corner. Very good first corner, very early on the throttle as well, so that was really good. As we come through the rest of the corners over here, left-hander down to third gear. You want to stick quite close to the wall there, closer than I did. Got early on the throttle, and it's a 19.2 first sector, which is okay. 0.1 is my PB. As we come through the hairpin, what I noticed here is that you need to brake a little bit, but then at some stage you need to let the car slow down itself. You know, don't get in the way of the car there. You want to slow the car down, let the car slow down itself thanks to the drag, and then turn in. So you have a lot of entry speed, but still you can make the corner fairly easily. Once again, making sure here I do not cut the corner. I definitely not cut it there, so that was pretty good. Let's see as I come through this left-hander. That was better than I did before. Let's have a look at the middle sector timer. It's a 56.2, which is okay. As I had a little bit of a step on the wheel there. That was not great, to be honest. 56.2. I'm up for a high 13, high 13, low 14. We come through the final corner, opening up the DRS, and once again for the run to the line, and we'll see what the lap time is going to be like. It's a 14.016, so 3/10 down on what we did in the previous session, but we still keep on going though. Even though I went way too deep into that first corner, I still want to carry on and see what we can do here. Breaking down, what's going to turn, well, this is turn 3, something like that, and I touched the barrier on the inside there. Luckily didn't lose my front wing, but that's it for me. And then I went to mix 1. And a little bit later in the session, I went again for, you know, a high fuel run, you know, a race run, a race stint, because I have seriously done, as we see Double D there, topping the timesheet now with a 1:13.9, amazing lap time from him. I could not, I have done 20 sessions or so, and in 18 out of the 20 sessions, I could not improve the time I did set in first instance, in my first stint. And I found that so weird. I even think there's some kind of glitch, really. No matter how hard I push, it's just not possible. Qualifying finished in second in the end. A great lap from Double D. Was very, very quick in the middle sector. Look at this. 36.671. That's where he gained time on me. About 4/10. So, very good middle sector. The middle sector is actually the most important sector in this lap. On this lap. It's also the longest sector, obviously. I did a 37.0. So, indeed, 4/10 down. In that middle sector, as I almost quit the session there, pressed the wrong button, wanted to press continue. Now again we go into the race then. So here we go. Not really happy with the qualifying, to be honest. I wasn't happy with the disconnect, to be honest. That 13.7 was really good. It felt like a very good lap. And that was basically the target, you know. I wanted to get a 1:13.7 in qualifying. That was the target. And after that, I had troubles concentrating again. It's really hard, to be honest, to concentrate again and get a good lap in. I said a 1:14.0, which is reasonable, but not really what I wanted. But anyway, enough crying. Let's go on to the race. So we go then. I eventually decided to start on the prime tire. We will see whether that's the good choice. I had nothing to lose, obviously. Wanted to have some fun here, so let's go. 5 lights already, and the lights are out and away we go for the race here. 39 lap long race, as we have a very poor start. Look at that, you can see Double D just pulling away with Klawutski overtaking us as well. And having Grenu, the McLaren, down the inside there. I got the better exit though, so he backed out of it, lost 1 place on the start there. And what a shit start I actually had. Very poor getaway, as we see some action behind Race Fanatic and the Williams there getting past Grenu. But what a poor start. I don't know whether it's thanks to the prime tire. It has to be thanks to the prime tire a little bit, you know. The option tire definitely has the better traction, especially around this track. But blaming the tire here is just stupid to do, because it was more or less the driver. It was me there who wasn't great on the traction. So yeah, I didn't really practice the start, so that might explain it. But anyway, enough crying. We have lost 1 position there, unfortunately, to Klawutski, who I think did have an excellent start. Was really quick off the line, I believe. Very good traction. So we complete the second sector about now. And as I said, lost 1 position. Double D, by the way, coming back to qualifying. Had an amazing run there. 13.9, which is really good. Very good lap from him. Respect for him. That was very good. The rest of us, or the rest of the field, basically was in the 1:14, so he was in the class of his own, really. We come through the finish line for the first lap, starting the second lap right now. And you can see the gap to Klawutski is 1.5 seconds, and visually he seems to be pulling away from us, doesn't he? Especially in the final sector there. So yeah, I actually do not know why I selected the prime tire. It was like, well, why not have some fun, you know? Why not do, you know, something different? Because I expected a lot of people who start on the option tire. Basically, with the new game, if you do not know it, in real F1 you use the tires where you have qualified on Q2, but there is no Q2 here, so you basically have a fresh set of tires available to you for the start of the race. I did notice this, by the way. I did realize that this is the case, but I just went for the prime. No idea why. I thought I was just happy then to push towards the final part of the race and have some fun, you know. That was my main objective for the race, just have some fun as we skip all the way to lap 7 with Klawutski up front. And Klawutski is going very, very slowly indeed as we overtake him there. And Klawutski, I think, yeah, Klawutski has lost his front wing. I can tell what happened in the last couple of laps. Klawutski and Double D both pulled away massively while I was on the prime tire. I've been struggling all stint long here until Klawutski then you know, lost his front wing. I was lucky there then. And up to P2 now, but having a 10.7 you know, gap to P1. Double D is doing such an incredible job right now, really very good job from in 10.7 seconds in 9 laps. That is over a second a lap, and that is really amazing. I know I'm on the prime tire, but still that is just amazing. What I did manage to do though, excuse me, is keep Race Fanatic behind. He's 1.3 seconds behind us at the moment. Still a long race to go though, 30 laps, but you know, I said to myself at this stage, you know, if you want to win this race, you're gonna have to do something now, because it's not going according to plan. So I tried to push it a little bit harder here. As you can see there, rear end starting to slide on the entry of the corner, very close to the wall there. I mean, this is Monaco, you know, you come so close to these walls a lot of times. It's pretty incredible, to be honest. 11.6 seconds now to Double D, so he still keeps, you know, increasing that gap on that super soft tire. With Race Fanatic pretty close behind me now as well, having the DRS. And look on the minimap, there's a little bit of a gap between Race Fanatic and P4, whoever that is. That is actually Marco, so he's the championship leader, I think. Down to P4, you don't see that every day. But yeah, to be honest, I got pretty lucky there with Klawutski. That's basically one opponent out of the way for me. Don't know if he will be quick now though, and he will be a threat towards the end of the race for us. If I keep driving like this, it does look like it, because I'm just losing so much time to Double D. It's unbelievable really, but my consistency is okay-ish, you know, it's not that bad. And I was thinking like, what is going on here, you know? It felt like I wasn't doing too bad at all. I mean, don't get me wrong, I wasn't thinking I was driving like a god or something like that. That was definitely not the case, but also not, you know, particularly slow. I just thought it was okay-ish. Excuse me, but yeah, for some reason I just lost loads of time in these first 10 laps already. 12.9 seconds. That's already an amazing gap, obviously. And Race Fanatic behind. You can see now I'm starting to push a little bit more, because we see Race Fanatic behind. He looks very, very feisty behind us indeed, as he just hit the wall there, I believe, so that lost him a few tenths. We skip to lap 11 now, coming through the Nouvelle chicane. Again, make sure you don't cut it, and also just every single lap you get so close to the wall there. It's pretty insane. Also get very close to the wall there, almost turned in too early. It's a very tricky corner, very, you know, easy to turn into early and lose your front wing. 14.16 to Double D. Yeah, at this stage I was about to give up on first place, as we see Double D pitting. Or sorry, not Double D. We see Race Fanatic pitting. And that means that Marco FD is now following us. So that is the championship leader, and actually Double D indeed pitted. So Marco D, Double D, what am I doing? Double D went into the pit lane, with Marco now behind us. The gap is about a second at the moment. Our pit window should be around lap 15-16. What I want to do here is pit in lap 16-ish, then do about 12 laps on the option, and do another 11 laps on the option in the end. But while still struggling, am I, or aren't I, aren't I, on this prime tire? That is for sure. As we saw Grenou in third place. I was about to say we see Grenou in third place, but it's now Double D who already overtook Grenou. And when you look at the minimap, you can see just how close Double D is already, you know, to us. I mean, we are almost a pit stop down on the leader here, as Marco made a bit of a mistake, I think, through the swimming pool section, as he lost another second. But Double D is a further, or an additional 2.3 seconds behind Marco, and well, that is insane, really. That really is insane. He's almost a pit stop ahead of us at this stage. So entering lap 13 right now. A pretty good first corner. You want to really cut the corner as much as you can, without obviously cutting it too much. And Marco has dropped a little bit further back, I think. Yeah, I think he made another mistake, so that gives us a bit more breathing space. Just a few more laps to go. I can decide if to pit in lap 15 instead of 16, if I really feel the need to. You know, and then do 2 stints on the option tire from 12 laps long. But we'll see how this race develops. 1.8 seconds to Double D, obviously flying now on the new set of prime tires. And yeah, for me it's just really now, you know, get these tires till the end of the stint, because I wanted to change them now badly. I mean, it was just not working really, you know. But what can you do? I mean, I really thought that I had a good pace. Well, good pace. It didn't feel bad. It just did not feel bad. But still, the pace itself was, well, very poor if you compare it to Double D, which is the provisional or the virtual race leader now in this race. Obviously, Marco and me both still have to pit, I think, and Marco keeps on going on the option tires, I believe. Lap 14 at the moment, 1:18.2, so it needs not the greatest lap time, but what else do you expect from these prime tires? And well, a one stop here would be, I think you would pit in lap 16 on the option tire, and then do 23 laps on the prime. And that is pretty insane, to be honest, 23 laps on the prime, because, you know, I am right now on 14 lap all primes, and you will see, and especially towards the end of the stint, you will see how much the rear end actually starts to slide and how much trouble you're actually having putting the power down. The tire wear is becoming a little bit of an effect right now as well, because you can see that I'm struggling a little bit with putting the power down. As you can see in the mirror though, there's Williams on the inside of Marco. I'm trying to give Marco some slipstream as much as I can. That's why I missed my apex in the tunnel. Try to give him a bit of slipstream, because obviously Double D is the leader of this race, and if I can, you know, if Marco stays ahead of Double D for as long as possible, then he's gonna get held up a little bit. Double D, that is, gives me a little bit of a tap there, but nothing too major, obviously. I mean, he is just on much fresher tires, and it wouldn't expect me if he overtakes me straight away in this DRS zone here. Need a good exit out of this corner. Lap 14. Entering lap 15 right now, and yes, the DRS going to Rich Mixer, try to defend. It's not really necessary though. Now brake early, again on the throttle early out of the exit of the corner. Got a bit of oversteer, and that means that Double D is now really close behind us. Here we go up the hill, and he has a look on the inside. He goes actually for the inside. He gets the inside. I'll be on the inside for the next corner though, and he goes out around the outside. He does make the move stick. Great move from Double D. Although I have to say that at this stage it frustrated me a little bit, because he was on the inside and I felt in my wheel that I was actually pushed, and then, you know, on the inside I was on the inside for the next corner, but it's such a tight corner that's actually, I think it's better to go around the outside there, because when you have the inside line you're gonna have to slow down massively, otherwise you will hit him on the exit. But yeah, I was a little bit frustrated because he gave me a push, but you know, I shouldn't complain. I mean, it doesn't really look that big, obviously, when you look at it right now. And of course he has the pace anyway, so no, I'm not going to complain, as these tires are really starting to wear now, and I think it's best to actually pit in this lap already. One lap earlier than I would have liked probably, but here we go. You just see that the rear end just breaks out as we enter the pit lane right now. But remember, we are a full pit stop down on Double D at the moment. So indeed, selecting the option tire, then the only positive I can take right now is that we only have 2 more option stints to go, and you know, we get rid of these prime tires. But I do not really think it are the prime tires, you know, being that slow. I think I'm just slow during this race. I think the maximum we can get right now is actually 3rd place, maybe 2nd. It all depends on Race Fanatic, but we'll see. Also, don't count Marco out. I mean, I think he still went on, so I don't know whether he's going for a one stop. Might be possible, as we just rejoined the track and we lose connection to Minor Black. That's a shame. Don't know whether that's thanks to a rage quit or just a real disconnect. No idea. but that's a bit of a shame. 11 drivers left in this race with DH1806 behind us. And now on these option tires, you know, you're going to push, you know, a lot more now. I mean, yeah, that first stint was kind of frustrating. It just did not go as planned at all. The pace was not there. But we'll see what we can do now. Obviously, I'm a full pit stop down on double D, so I'm not going to win this race. That's what I was thinking, at least at the moment. You know, how are you going to win this race? You know, when you're a pit stop down. I mean, that's a lot, and that is very painful. But you know, another positive thing is that we aren't even halfway. You know, the halfway mark of the race. 12 seconds to race Fanatic. Let's keep that one in mind. Obviously, we have very fresh option tires right now. So, well, let's try to get the most out of it and push really, really hard. So we come to the ending of lap 16, opening up lap 17 right now. 12.0 before. 11.5 now, so gained half a second in the final sector. Very, very good indeed. And look on the minimap. The next dot ahead of us on the track is Race Fanatic. The dot in front of him, the dot which is going through the right hander now, about to enter the tunnel, that is Double D. So Double D has a huge lead, even on Race Fanatic as well. 11.5 before, 11.2 it is right now. Getting on the fleet tensions in the first sector, but what else do you expect on these fresh option tires? I mean, at the moment they are just so much better, obviously, than those warm prime tires. It's a pretty big difference. What I really noticed is that the biggest difference comes in traction, I think. These option tires have a lot more traction, a lot more grip on the exits of the corners, especially out of slow speed corners compared to the primes. The initial turn-in is much better. I do not really feel such a difference in terms of the actual cornering grip. So, you know, when you're in the middle of a corner, but the turn-in is quite nice, as we did a purple middle sector at 10.5 to Race Fanatic, so bringing that gap down rapidly. Remember that the two drivers in front of us are on the prime tire, 114.9. That's okay-ish lap, and 10 seconds to Race Fanatic now. So wasn't the gap 11.5 before? So getting 1.5 seconds at the moment. That is a lot, to be honest. But I don't think I can keep this pace up for a lot longer, because these tires are about to fall off. Obviously, they are still quite fresh, but yeah, I do not expect these tires to be fresh for the entire stint, and that is pretty obvious. Another 4/10 in the first sector. We're doing really, really good at this moment. If we are going to keep on going like this, we are going to catch up to Race Fanatic in a couple of laps time. But as I said, I doubt whether we can keep this up. The most important thing now is to close the gap as much as I can while these guys are still on the prime tire. You know, I know that the prime tire is pretty slow. It's obviously a disadvantage compared to the option tire. So make the most out of it right now. Close the gap, because at the end of the race they will fit the option tire probably again. So that's about lap 27. They will fit the option tire again to do 12 laps on the option tire. And then, you know, I will be on the option tire as well, and having less of an advantage than I have right now on the option tire while they are on the prime. I hope you got my point. So 8.5 it was in that middle sector. It now is 8. I don't know. There, the timing doesn't show a gap, and that's a bit of a shame, as we did a 1:14.5. So I still improved that. That lap time, that was a pretty good lap. And lap 19 now, 20 more laps to go, and keeping pushing, that's for sure. Let's have a look. 8.1 seconds. So yeah, keep closing that gap down more and more and more and more, and keep extending the gap to the cars behind, as well as Marco has pitted, but I have no idea where he fell back. He fell back quite a bit though. He was the second before. He is now more than 14.6 seconds behind us. Don't know where Marco is at this stage. Maybe something happened at his pit stop. Not sure. As we once again come pretty close to that wall there. There's a little bit of a, you know, in that Nouvelle chicane, there's a little bit of a, well, how to describe it? You know, the wall basically tightens itself, or the corner tightens itself up. It's hard to explain, but I'm sure you know what I mean. If you don't know, I'll explain it on the next occasion. 7 seconds to Race Fanatic. Let's see how much time we gain in the final sector, if we gain anything. And once again, we cannot see the gap. Great. Exactly what we wanted. No, obviously not. 150.1 that time round, and we are going to skip to lap 22. I've been pushing very hard the last couple of laps, and the gap to Race Fanatic is now just under 5 seconds. So the pace is very good at the moment, and if I keep on going like this, I will close the gap to Race Fanatic in a couple of laps time, and that's obviously very good. Then we can have some battling during this race, finally, because I haven't really had a good battle with someone. And I'm looking forward to having a battle with Race Fanatic in this case. But obviously, you know, Double D is still quite a long way ahead of him, so you know, no way or no need to get satisfied or happy or excited for a race win, because it doesn't really look like that. You know, that's going to be the case. We come through the Nouvelle chicane. Remember, the gap to Race Fanatic was 4 seconds. You can see it right there now. And that is what I really want to see. When I can see a driver up front, you know, that's really when I start to get aggressive and push very hard as we come through this left hand there. There's someone in the wall. That is Race Fanatic. Race Fanatic is in the wall. And there was certainly some debris out on track. And I gained second place now, with an 11.1 second gap to Double D, so we can now see the gap to Double D. A Race Fanatic with a very unlucky and very unfortunate spin there. Must have happened on the exit, and the gap to Double D is 10.1, gained a second in the final sector, so Double D must have made a mistake in the final sector, as we are 2 thousandths quicker than our previous lap. We are also pretty consistent at the moment. I'm loving these option tires at the moment. They are much better than the prime tire. So very unlucky stuff for Race Fanatic. I do not think he lost his front wing. I do think he lost front wing end plate, because there was some debris out on track. We skip to lap 26 and we are about to pit soon, and the gap to Double D is under 4 seconds. Remember, the gap to him was 10 seconds a few laps ago. I just kept on pushing. Just, you know, for me it's now all or nothing, you know. If I now crash into the wall, I do not care, because I have now, I can visually see him now. I want to go for this win, and I will take nothing less than that. So there's a little bit of traffic as well in there. You can see a Mercedes, I believe. That is very interesting actually, to see a Mercedes in there. Since Mercedes have been really strong in this AOR season, they just got lapped. So that shows as well some of Double D's pace, as we lost connection to Kennisby, who already retired early in the race. That shows Double D's pace. You know, he is very quick at the moment, and he's driving really well. But what I heard from the engine, from the engineer, was that Double D, as we gained another half a second in the middle sector, I think. I heard the engine saying, or the engineer saying, I say it again. I heard the engineer saying that Double D had front wing damage. So what I do is I pit in lap 26. I know that front wing damage, in order to repair it, it takes an additional 3 seconds. The gap to Double D was under 3 seconds. So if I go and pit now, set in a good outlap, I will lead this race. And who would have thought that about 11 laps ago? Crazy, right? I was a pit stop down, and well, I thought it was the driver, but I'm starting to lean to you know, give blame to the tires, because I was super slow on the prime tire. Double D was pretty slow, or well, slower in comparison to the option, I should say. Race Fanatic was slower in comparison to the option, so I think the option tire is even the better race tire here. Of course, it doesn't last as long as the prime tire, but the option tire is so much more consistent, has so much more grip as well, and as a driver you feel a lot more comfortable on them, and that is very important actually. So with 12 laps to go, I'm gonna have to put in a stunner of an outlap here, and hopefully the gap to Double D will be big enough. You know, I need a little bit of a margin as well, because Double D will have fresher tires for the final stint as well. Obviously when he pits now, it will be only, you know, 1 lap difference in terms of freshness from the tires, but still, you know, that 1 lap can be about 2/10, maybe a lap. So it's best to have a nice gap and have some breathing space and manage that gap. Then, as we have a back marker in front of us, that's Burkhoff, who is in 10th place at the moment and on the prime tire as well. I'm so happy that I got the prime tire out of the way early enough, as Double D has pitted. Double D is in the pits. You can see him there in the mirror. I just about saw him exiting the pit lane as I cut the corner. Apologies for that. That was very nasty. And wow, that's a pretty big gap to Double D. And we are leading the race. We are leading the race with 12 laps to go. Ooh, dancing with the car there on the exit of that corner. Let's have a look to the double D. Double D. 3.2 seconds is the gap, with Grenu in third place, looking for a podium spot at the moment. Although we might see Race Fanatic again popping up there. There's a McLaren in front of us, gets out of the way already nicely. That is Thomas Irish HD, also on the prime tire, and we get past him nicely. Thank you very much for getting out of the way there. So 3.2 seconds to double D, keep that in mind. Do not cut this Nouvelle chicane. You know, I approached the curb there with a bit of a wrong angle, and that is something you want to pay attention to. Wow, got very close to the wall, almost hit the inside of the wall. That would have been a disaster. But with the Nouvelle chicane, sometimes you hit the curb, the inside curb, with the wrong angle, and it breaks. The rear end breaks out thanks to that. You know, it breaks loose. The rear end becomes loose thanks to that. So there's a certain angle where that happens, and a certain angle where it doesn't happen. And it's up to you to hit the right angle without obviously cutting it as well. Very difficult corner to cut, or very difficult to not cut, as double D gained half a second, so that's a little bit worrying. Very hard to not cut the corner, but obviously this is one of the best leagues out there at the moment for F1 2014, so it's very important to I'll keep it within the rules, keep it clean. So luckily I gained another 4/10 in the first sector. Gap is now 3.1 seconds, and well, I have 10 laps to control that gap, and I would have never thought this, to be honest. At the end of the prime stint, I was like, no, you're not gonna win this, but you know, let's just have some fun then, you know, have some battles with a few drivers if I can. Unfortunately, we could not battle with Race Fanatic, and I have to admit that I believe that I got pretty lucky during this race, because if Race Fanatic didn't spin, I would have probably ended up in a battle with him, and that definitely would have cost me time. And I do not know whether I, still was then in first place. And I got also lucky that Double D had front wing damage. Otherwise, it would have been about a 3-second difference, and maybe he would have, be in the lead right now of the race. But anyway, I'm still happy. 114.7 though, and this is pretty remarkable. We're doing 14.7s while we have done 114.5, and that was like 12 laps ago. So this is kind of weird, because our car is much lighter. Obviously we have burned up some fuel, so once again come very close to the wall, and you hit the barrier on the exit of the corner. Lost my front wing end plate, and this is not what you want to see. I'll come back onto this later though. But Double D now 2.2 seconds behind us, so he's closing down as well. But back to the fastest lap then. The car is now much lighter because of the fuel I've burned up in the meantime. But somehow I cannot improve that 114.5, and that, I said that lap 12 laps ago. So I think my concentration is dropping a little bit, and I'm gonna be honest, Double D is putting some pressure on me at the moment, and that doesn't really help me at the moment with feeling comfortable with the car. I think I was looking too much in my mirrors rather than just racing. I was looking too much at Double D, and yeah, that is something I never used to do before really. But I did so in this race, and the gap is 2 seconds now, so Double D is closing us down. And at this stage I wanted to go to defending mode, save fuel and use the fuel later in the race. But then again, the gap pops up to 2.8 seconds. I had no idea what I had to do right now. Do you save fuel, use it at the end of the race to defend? Do you keep on driving right now with higher fuel or higher fuel engine mixture in order to keep the gap around 2-3 seconds? I had no idea. I really did not know what I was gonna have to do, and I was thinking a bit too much about it, and I forgot to really drive and put in some quick lap times. But that's all with I'm all saying this at the end of the race. I know the result of the race, so it's easy to say now, obviously. 3.2 was the gap before, I believe. 2.9 it is now. He gained another 3/10s, I believe, in the middle sector. But my final sector is, I think, my strongest point compared to Double D. I usually gain a bit of time here. Let's see if I do so in this lap as well. 2.9 seconds before, and it is now 2.9. Okay, very consistent, the gap at the moment, with just 7 more laps to go. And we skip to the end of lap 35, the beginning of lap 36, ending of lap 35, beginning of lap 36. And the gap to Double D is 3.7 seconds right now. We are extending the gap, and that is, well, very good to see. Race Fanatic, by the way, has put himself up to third place again. I'm very glad he did so, because I do think he deserves it. A little bit of a kiss with the barrier there as well. But remember that I'm driving without a front wing end plate at the moment, and it costs about 2-3 tenths a lap. Ooh, interesting. Double D also has front wing damage. Now that's good for us, because it neutralizes the disadvantage that I've got right now, then, or that I had. Obviously, with the front end plate being lost, you get a little bit less downforce. That's the wall, by the way, I'm talking about there. That was just on the left hand side. Once again, you come so close to it every single lap. It's kind of amazing. Of course, as a driver, when you do it 39 times, it doesn't become as exciting anymore. But yeah, when you look at the video and just, you know, sometimes watch how close you can get to a wall here, it's pretty insane. And it's the case for every single Split 1 driver, I think. A lot of these drivers are really talented, and it's very nice to see them coming so close to the wall. I even skimmed the wall there, I believe. I think you could hear it. So skip to the penultimate lap of the race now, and the gap to Double D is 3.7 seconds. And right now, I stopped thinking. The only thing which I thought now, give him the knockout. You know, give him this little push, and hopefully he will fall down. That's what you need right now. You need to give him the knockout right now, because if this gap keeps about 3.7 seconds and it maybe decreases, you give him hope, and you do not want to give your opponent any kind of hope. You want to punch him in the face and knockout, as I said, and just fly away. That's really what you want to do with your opponent. At least that's what I usually like to do with my opponent. And so I was pushing pretty hard right now. Once again, coming close to the wall. There's a bit of debris out there on the track. Try to avoid that. You do not want to pick up that debris. And, well, so far, a pretty okay-ish middle sector. But obviously the tires are starting to wear right now as well. 4 tenths down on our previous lap. 3.4 seconds to Double D. So the knockout I was talking about before is not really working. So we come through the final corner here. Just one more lap to go. And it looks like if I can keep it out of the barriers for one more lap, we will be the winner here. And who would have thought that? I'm going to say it one more time. Who would have thought that 25 laps ago? Oh, skimming the wall again. You do not want to do that. I still kept on pushing at the moment. It's for me personally, I have experienced that it's never good to slow down. Even not in the final lap, unless you have a really big advantage. But firstly, when I'm going to drive a little bit slower, I start to lose concentration, and that makes it easier for me, especially around this track, to put in it or crash it into the wall. And second, I always want to try to keep pushing and try to still extend the gap to Double D. And I can also tell you now that a few laps ago I have heard from the engineer that Double D has a time penalty. So I think we're going to win this race. As we see DH there in the wall, had to avoid him there. It was a little bit in a racing line, but I took a tight line and nothing happened. So here we go, across the line now, and taking home that victory. Wow, so in the end won the race, but first of all, I straight away want to give my respect to Double D, because he really gave me a run for my money. Also congratulations to Race Fanatic, but Double D has proven himself here around this track. He was super strong, and the Mercedes guys are in 6th and 7th place. That's a little bit unusual. They're usually a bit higher up, so this wasn't their favorite track for sure. But oh wow, I did not expect to win this race, especially not after lap 15. But you know, the option tire really were much better. So that is basically it for this video. Yeah, just a little bit of an AOR return. I really enjoyed this race for once. It was cool to do, but I do not feel like joining this championship again. As I said, it's good to pop in just once, and that's really it. I had good fun, don't get me wrong, but I do not feel like taking part in this championship at the moment, so I'm not going to do that. I might pop in here and there, maybe in a few races later this season, but yeah, that's really it. I do not feel like joining, as I said before. So back to the race though, a very remarkable race, a race which I thought would go pretty wrong in terms of result, because the pace was just not there on the prime tire, but I wasn't the only one having problems on the prime tire, and in the end I was only happy that I got the prime tire out of the way and then could do two very quick option stints towards the end of the race then. So I think that's pretty much it. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I certainly have enjoyed again racing in AOR. I want to thank AOR first for letting me race again. It was good fun. Thanks to all the drivers. Thanks for showing the respect. I had no collisions with anyone, so that's very good. And yeah, finally again, thanks AOR for letting me join again in this split. But that's pretty much it. I want to thank you guys as well for watching. If you have enjoyed the video, I would appreciate a like. And that is pretty much it. I hope to see you guys next time. Thanks for watching once again, and goodbye.